Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So a lot of you have been wondering, is Lilith Loop truly dead? Now that Mega Digimon Fusion is gone, okay? It's completely banned, not even at a one of, it's completely gone. So is Lilith looping even slightly possible? Well, as if you saw the feature match this week, we saw it alive and well. It is still a very, very powerful way to play purple, especially with the new BT7 support it's getting. Also, our Patreon reward for the month of February is going to be the Digi Armor Egg of Friendship. This thing is super cool, handmade out of clay by my wife. Got the crest on top, got the horn, great memory marker here. The Egg of Friendship. This is for your Raikyurimon here. If you're going to be playing some armor, any of the Vmon armor stuff, or the Pyildramon deck coming out in the future that just is absolutely destroying the meta in JP right now, this is going to be a great memory marker for either of those decks. Now, if you want any of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel, check the coffee link in the description below. There you can get access to all the previous memory markers we've had on the channel. The benefit, though, of going through Patreon is you get the featured memory marker of the month, usually for a much better deal. Alright, so we're going to jump right in here to this. And first off, we're only running 4 eggs. The Demi-Meramon is so powerful in this new Eyesmon era. Remember, Eyesmon doesn't get limited to 1 until BT8's pre-release. So we get a whole full set rotation of BT7 at full power Eyesmon. So we're going to use that to its fullest, okay? Definitely take advantage of that while you can, and we've got some great packages for that. Now, realistically, our only natural Evo in this whole thing is going to be Eyesmon Scatter Mode. So Scatter Mode is going to be the only real level 4 that we're going to Evo on top of a rookie with. So we can very easily only have the 4 Demi-Meramon. So this is just going to stack with all those discards that we're going to be doing. So draw 1, trash 1. We'll talk about this whole combo in a little bit here. Next we got Gabumon, which is going to be a draw 2, trash 1. Both of these are inheritable on deletion. So stack these guys underneath Scatter Mode, and oh my goodness, we'll go ahead and take a look at Scatter Mode right now in case you're curious and you're not really sure what Scatter Mode is. This is the new BT7 card for purple that's just absolutely insane. On deletion, draw 3, trash 2. So similar to something like, say, a Lady Devimon Evo skill, but this is on deletion. So with this, you're going to be drawing 3, trashing 2, and then you combine that with Gabumon here, who's going to be draw 2, trash 1, and then Demi-Meramon after that. So all 3 of these are going to trigger at the same on deletion moment, one after another. So that is going to be 6 draws in total that you're doing and 4 discards. Okay, so that's a incredible amount of hand sculpting. Hand sculpting is so powerful in purple. Just whatever the situation calls for, whatever kind of matchup you're going against, being able to essentially restart your entire hand is very, very powerful. So very good stuff there. Next, we've got the Tsukaimon, and this is just kind of your backup. If you can't draw into your Gabumon, you need a secondary, really good on deletion inheritable to go underneath that Scatter Mode. I think Tsukaimon really fits the bill. I couldn't really think of any other on deletion inheritable that would go underneath Scatter Mode that really felt somewhat impactful. So Tsukaimon was kind of the best bet. Just gaining 1 memory allows you to memory choke your opponent a little bit easier, as well as you can just do some other things. If it's underneath like a blocker, you know, and it deletes on your opponent's turn, or they clear something on your side of the field, you know, you're going to gain that memory, potentially passing it back to you. So I think it's a really great alternative. The Gabumon definitely is our primary inheritable to go underneath that Scatter Mode. Next, we got 3 Gazimon. This is going to be your memory blocker for purple. The same in previous formats. Blocking blue memory gain is going to be so powerful. You know, you're going to stop all those security effects that are gaining them memory, is things like that. I mean, that's so powerful, is turning off all those security options that are going to gain them memory, as well as going to be blocking all those like delay option effects that are still pretty problematic. I say problematic, but they're still popular, I guess is a better way to put it. Just that gaining that 2 memory, all those different things. But the real powerhouse that sets it up, memory blockers, so much higher than they've ever been before, it's going to be Bokomon. Bokomon, every time a tamer digivolves into a hybrid, Bokomon gains you 2 memory. So it essentially makes every single tamer Evo basically free. Okay? That's insane. So they get a Evo free into any hybrid, and then, you know, Evo into that 1 cost Evo level 5, right? So then they've essentially gone from a tamer into a level 5 for 1 memory. That's so powerful. So Gazimon, just memory blockers in general, turning that off. And with hybrids being probably the most popular played strategy in BT7, at least initially, everyone's going to be wanting to try it, of course, try the new hot thing. And most of them are still going to be pretty competitive. Even with the hits, they're still going to be very, very powerhouse decks. So memory blockers stopping those Bokomon is going to be very, very good. Moving on from there, we got Labramon, this is one of my favorite combos in all of Purple. Next to the Scatter Mode combo with the Gabumon and Demi-Marimon, this is like my right up there, tied for first as my favorite generic Purple strategy that works in any type of Purple deck. Hard play Labramon, draw 1, trash 1. Okay, the idea is your trash target is going to be a Skull Greymon. So when you discard a Skull Greymon, you can put it underneath any Digimon, and it has the inheritable of Retaliation. So start your turn at 3 memory with a memory fixer, slap down this Labramon, draw 1, discard a Skull Greymon, put it underneath the Labramon, and then jumping right over here into our first level 4, we have Vilemon as a blocker for Purple. So then you Evo this Vilemon on top of the Labramon with that Retaliation. Very, very nasty combos for a lot of decks. Now, if you've watched my video for blockers are bad in BT7, this still kind of fits the bill. Against blue, this strategy isn't too great. Okay, just the way it is. It's not all that impressive. But against every other color, especially something like green, this is an insanely powerful combo. Okay, so being able to just have your blocker with Retaliation, anything big that wants to try to swing over there is going to just have to eat it. And with stuff like Susanomon, they're going to slam down this Susanomon, and it's pretty much always going to pass their turn moving forward. Without Mega Digimon Fusion, Susanomon isn't quite the end-all be-all card that it was before. So seeing that Susanomon on the field, immediately go into this Labramon, Vilemon with Retaliation underneath combo, and just completely turn off that Susanomon from being able to attack. Very, very powerful. And I say, because the Susanomon, you see it on the field. You have all that memory from that Evo. It's already used its deletion effect. So now your blocker is going to be safe if you go into your blocker against most hybrid decks. Again against blue, with them trashing Digivolution sources, it's less of a viable strategy, but still pretty solid against a lot of other decks. Moving on now, Scatter Mode. We already talked about how great it is. This is like your opener, right? You're going to go free Evo Rookie in Raising Area, and then Scatter Mode on top of whatever rookie it was that you slammed down. So as soon as it comes back to your turn, you're ready to promote this guy and just start swinging. 4K DP, pretty low, so it has a reasonable chance of dying. And then Eyesmon, regular Eyesmon, this is going to be one of our ideal discard targets. So out of those 4 cards that you're typically going to discard, Eyesmon is definitely going to be one of those top choices. When you trash this card in your hand using one of your effects, if Scatter Mode is in your trash, you may play this card without paying its memory cost. So the idea is to discard multiple Scatter Modes in all of these draw discards. So that level 4 that died, like you're like, oh, I just cleared my own field. Awesome. I have to completely start a whole new Evo chain to go like into a level 5 and then into a Mega. But with Eyesmon, you just discard it. It just instantly replaces that Scatter Mode as your level 4 on field. Very, very powerful, especially if you can flood the field with multiple Eyesmon. Like a single Scatter Mode dies, and you could potentially put all 4 Eyesmon into play at one time, which is nuts. Absolutely absurd. There's a reason this card gets limited to 1 at the start of BT8. It is a very powerful card, so use it while you can. Moving on from there, though, we got 2 Promote. Promote is Genkakumon Promote is a great card just in most general decks for Lilith Loop, because anytime you can go into Zwart and it still be your turn, Promote is a great target to bring out off of Zwart because it's got that rush. Okay, so then you're going to go ham with the Promote with the rush, and really good stuff. Now, besides that, we've actually got a little bit more versatility with it because of the Eyesmon. So you swing in with the Scatter Mode, it dies, you bring out a couple Eyesmon. This is a level 4. You can go 1 Evo cost Promote on top of that Eyesmon and immediately rush with it. So that's a really powerful play, is to discard the Eyesmon and then go Promote right on top of it to get more swings out of it. So instantly putting that Eyesmon to work that has Summoning Sickness with this. And then that 1 cost Evo, not a big deal. Get a draw off of it, get a free security check probably, or clear something off the field, and then it just puts it in the trash for you. So you don't have to discard the Promote to bring it back later with the Zwart. You can just actually use it in other ways early game instead of only in late game. So only at the 2 of there. It is a pretty big level 4 stack overall, but the Eyesmon package is almost like one in the same, okay, because you're going to lose 1 to gain 1 right back on field in its place. So these are almost treated as just a 4 of in total is kind of how I like to look at it. But not entirely. It's a real kind of wonky way to look at ratios, because you're not going to really count this Eyesmon as a standard level 4 that you're going to Evo with. Almost never will you Evo with the Scatter Mode or with the regular Eyesmon. Next up, we got our level 5 package. Of course, we got Lady Devimon. Any sort of drawing and discarding, when we're discarding stuff moving forward with purple, Lady Devimon instantly going to be a very valuable target, just because she's going to put those big key pieces in your trash. So whether you're discarding like a Skull Greymon or an Eyesmon or something like a Nidhoggmon, like we have tons of great discard targets in purple now that Lady Devimon once just, oh my god, I get to draw 3, discard 2, Graceful Charity, like insanely powerful. Now it's even better. Honestly, it's just even better because of that. So a really great card still, for sure. And remember, we are trying to fill up our trash for Lilith. Lilith needs to have 10 cards in trash, so that way we can use her ability. So all these drawing and discarding, it's more than just trying to sculpt our hand and discard these Eyesmon because they've got really cool effects to let us play them for free, or the Skull Greymon or Retaliation. Yeah, those are great too, but the main reason we're doing a lot of this discarding is to get 10 cards in trash. We just have great, absolutely wonderful targets to discard now. Skull Greymon, we already talked about it, that Retaliation there. So when you discard it, you get to put it underneath one of your purple Digimon for its Digivolution sources. So really cool stuff. Also, it is kind of our secondary level 5. For the most part, Lady Devimon will always be our ideal target. But in those pinches where you need to get into your Mega ASAP and all you got is Skull Greymon, it can still serve as a suitable level 5. 3 Evo cost, nothing too fancy there. But when attacking, you may trash 1 card in your hand. Hey, great, another discard effect. Awesome to have this Digimon gain 3,000 DP for the turn. So lets you swing over, gives him 10k. He can swing over, a lot of level 5s that are in the meta pretty much. So really nice for just clearing out those emergency situations, as well as more discard ability. So that's great. Next, we got the star of the deck herself, still staying strong all these sets later, all the way back from BT3, or I think she was in 1.0 or 1.5, really early on in this game's iteration. But when digivolving, if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, you may return 2 purple option cards from your trash to your hand. And that's part of the big, you have to do that now. The strategy is very key that you have 10 cards in trash to get the Lilith loop off. Because once per turn, when you use an option card, you gain 2 memory. So very powerful. We'll get into the full Lilith loop that we have now planned out moving forward in just a second, once we take a look at a couple of these other cards. We got Nidhogg for our secondary Mega. Used to, it was like Lilith and then like a side strategy that you also went into. I think Nidhogg is just a good generic purple Mega. So we have other good generics, like Tactimon's pretty good. And there was another one, I'm just drawing a blank on it, but we have 2 other kind of generic purple megas that just kind of fit into any deck. I think Nidhogg, though, is really, really spicy in this. Not even really spicy. I think it's just kind of a given. When you trash this card in your hand using one of your effects, gain 1 memory. So he's just mainly there as another discard fodder, another thing that we can just discard, gain a memory off of. Cool, awesome. And in those emergency situations where we don't need to go into Lilith, but we should probably get into a mega of some type, a 3 evo cost mega, I mean, that's totally fair. With a memory fixer on field, it's still your turn. Great stuff. 11,000 DP, you know, that's better than 10k, so we're getting over, you know, some stuff. And then when digivolving, you may trash 1 card in your hand. Awesome. Plays right into the strategy of most of the deck. To delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So clear any sort of hybrid off the field, those level 4 hybrids. Clear a blocker if your opponent's still playing any sort of blocker shenanigans. You know, just a great generic when Digivolving ability. He's really cool. So just works in the whole deck strategy. He fits right in without question. All right, next up, we got Zwart here, and this is just our OG Omnimon Zwart. When Digivolving, trash the top 3 cards of your deck. Then you may play up to 2 black and or purple Digimon cards with play cost of 8 or less from your trash without paying their memory cost. So, like, good targets are like blockers in those situations where you desperately need a blocker on field before so you don't die. Or if you're trying to push for game, you can bring back the Promote with that rush and push for game. So really great stuff. Very versatile, which is very important. Also, you can bring back a level 5. So either of your level 5s you can bring back, and that gives you a great level 5 target to then Evo on top of with either of your 3 memory cost Evos megas. So just sets up for multiple different things here. And then when attacking, you may return 1 level 6 Digimon card in this Digimon's Digivolution cards to its owner's hand to delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with a play cost of 12 or less. So there are some stipulations. I know some people really just like, level 6, it's gone. It has to be unsuspended, and it has to be a play cost 12 or less. So some stuff does actually dodge that play cost 12 or less. I think... is it the green Nidhogg maybe that dodges it? And there's some other stuff as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. Keep people honest. Don't let them take you for granted on that effect, that deletion effect. Then we got 3 Jack Raids. There is always argument for 4, especially now. Jack Raids are so important. You have to have 2 Jack Raids in hand before you combo off. So gain 1 memory for every 10 cards in your trash. You have to have 10 cards in your trash anyway to go with the full Lilith loop. So getting these Jack Raids, live is actually pretty easy. Like I said, you're discarding a whole bunch with the Eyesmon early on. The scatter mode, when it dies, you're going to trash, and if you have the Gabumon right underneath, you're going to be trashing 4 cards plus scatter mode and his Evo. So that's going to be 3 more. By turn 2, you very easily can have 7 cards in the trash off of a single scatter mode. A single scatter mode will instantly, by turn 2, get you 7 cards in trash. That's pretty easy pickings after that, honestly. Like, you bring out a Eyesmon and then Evo into a Lady Devimon. That's going to be 2 more cards in trash. That puts you at 9. I mean, like, literally, by the end of turn 2, you could be at 10 cards. So Jack Raid's very, very powerful. We also are playing the Glaive Memory Boost just because you're going to play this. You're going to add cards back to hand. A lot of these discard effects are really nice recyclable ones. Grabbing back an Eyesmon to discard again off of something else. Grab back a Nidhoggmon to discard to gain that memory. Skull Greymon for that retaliation. Tons of great discard fodder that you can add back off Glaive. I think Glaive is a little bit better than the purple memory boost that just lets you search. So really, really like this one here. And then delay gain 2, which could come up, but not crucial for the strategy, but it can be kind of beneficial. And then we got Matt closing it out. Memory Fixer is just so important. We tried doing like 2 Matt and then 1 of the Duo Tamer, but really the Matt just felt so powerful in this. 1, you get to add back a purple Digimon or option from your trash to your hand. I mean, we already talked about Glaive, how great that is. Add back all those discard fodders. Same with Matt. You're going to add back those discard fodders. That's great. And then the fact that he's a memory booster. The sooner you get into a memory booster or memory fixer, is going to be a must. Like, you have to have a memory fixer on field to do the Lilith loop combo moving forward. So we're not running any whites here because we're not playing Mega Digimon Fusion. We're not playing win rate 60%, nothing like that. We're just sticking to regular old purple, and we're really just playing this out. So what's the new combo? So Matt, first of all, on field, so Memory Fixer. You're at 3 memory at the start of your turn. You have 10 cards in trash. You're going to play out your 2 Jack Raids. Okay, that's going to push you to 5 memory. Now you're going to Evo into this Lilithmon, okay, for 3 memory. That's going to take you down to 2 memory. You're going to grab back those 2 Jack Raids you just played. So, again, the benefit, or, you know, you could argue running 4 Jack Raids just because you have to have 2 in hand at the start of your turn to get this combo going. So you're going to add these 2 Jack Raids back to hand now that you're at 2 memory once you evoed into the Lilith. Play the 2 Jack Raids again. You're going to gain 1 memory for each, as well as 2 more memory for the Lilithmon effect. That's going to put you up to 6. There you go. You're back up to 6. You're going to Evo into your Zwart here, and Zwart's going to bring out, you know, your Rush package, whatever. We talked about all the different things you can do with Zwart already. And then you're going to swing with Zwart, bounce the Lilith back to hand. So then Lilith can either go into on top of a level 5 that you might have played. So if you played one of these 2 guys off of the Zwart, you can Evo her right back on top of them. You can wait till a follow-up turn to do that, you know, because you're going to be at 0 memory once you go into this Zwart. So keep that in mind. And then, you know, you can really just kind of push for game with the promotes and everything like that. So that's just going to allow you to, every turn, you can potentially go into a Zwart. As long as you have the Zwarts in hand, you know, you can perpetually just, you're going to put the Jack Raids back in your hand, you're going to put the Lilithmon back in your hand, you know, and you're just going to keep cycling. And then the Glaive memory boost here is just a backup. If the Jack Raids are in your trash and you don't have you know, more already, but you have the Lilithmon, you're at 3 memory at the start of your turn, go ahead and pop this Glaive memory boost, and it would basically act as you just played the 2 Jack Raids. So then you can go into Lilith, add the 2 Jack Raids in hand or in trash back to hand from a previous turn. So Glaive is just a good backup plan for turns after that first. After you do the first loop, then you're going to be able to offset it with the Glaive memory boost here and repeat that same type of combo there and going into a second Zwart. We've only run in the 2 Zwart though, okay? So the idea is to go into it once with the potential to go into it a second time if you have the cards on a follow-up turn. So it's just going to, every time you do the loop, it's going to set you up to do it again on the next turn. But in most situations, the idea is to go into Zwart and then bring out like 2 promote and then push for game, right? So that's just kind of the overall strategy of the deck. Still does work, okay? That's the big takeaway, is that it's still working. The Lilith loop is alive and well. Let me zoom out here in case anyone wants a picture or screenshot or anything like that. And that's going to be the complete deck there. The only slight maybe changes would be something like taking out the Vilemon. The Vilemon with the Skull Greymon and the Labramon, you know, that it's a really nice combo when you can get it off against decks like Blue, where they're going to just strip your Digivolution source anyway. It's less effective. Still effective against every other deck in the entire meta. I mean, we're looking at stuff like what is he? Oh man, Eyesmon is still going to be very formidable. I mean, we saw in JP that Eyesmon just stuck around, and even late into BT8, he was still a predominant like winning deck, which is why we got that hit on the limited list for him, is because all the way into BT8 he was still doing well. So I absolutely expect him to still threaten in this format as well. So something like the Skull Greymon underneath a blocker combo works great against that. Against Green Hybrid, absolutely wonderful against that deck for sure. And then, you know, just looking at other ones, Yellow, also really good against Yellow, assuming they're not playing like a whole bunch of removal options. I know I am. If you saw my other Yellow hybrid list that I posted the other day, likes to delete level 4s. You know, depending on how they build their deck, they can play around level 4 blockers. But if people aren't going to like take advantage of those level 4 removal cards, then this Vilemon Skull Greymon combo is going to be still very scary. Absolutely. But again, it's kind of a flex spot. If you want to go with something else instead, you can absolutely do that. Something maybe a little bit more aggro instead of something so defensive. But that is going to do it. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Just seeing that, you know, the deck still has some teeth in it. All right. I think once the Eyesmon package gets hit, I'll be very interested to see how it comes back from that. I'm not even sure myself if it's going to survive into BT8. If you guys have any ideas for BT8 when it loses the Eyesmon package of how to keep Lilith going, I'm definitely interested in seeing what you've got.